Hi everyone and welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Diane and I love to share everything with you that I know about watercoloring. And today we're going to be looking at a couple of new things actually. But first of all, are you too chicken to paint? I've put that in my title today because it seems to me that often that's the case, and I must admit it happens to me on an almost daily basis. I don't know what to paint. I don't know whether I can. I've forgotten everything I ever knew. 60 years of painting has failed me. And anyway, so somehow we find a way of getting over that every day, don't we? So what I do at the moment, I've come up with a solution. This is my spread for my today's work. And amongst all the other stuff here, I have these little cards. And I cut these out of sheets of watercolor paper, using a guillotine, and if you're interested in getting a guillotine so that you can do it, or a knife, an ordinary craft knife and a ruler will do it, and they are small 4x3 cards. And you know what, since I did this and I've had them handy, what I do is if I can't think what to paint, I just grab one of these and I just scribble something and just do a quick drawing, something really, you know, not good at all, something like this, just whatever comes to hand. And then I can get started. It really works. So that's a tip. I mentioned it the other day and I thought I'd mention it again because it's really working for me. And the other thing, of course, is if you can't think what to paint, why not paint a bookmark? You can always give them to a local bookshop or charity or hospital or something like that. They're always happy to have things like this. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do these chicken bookmarks. But first, I'm going to talk about briefly these pastel pencils. Now, I received these in the post yesterday. This must be the quickest delivery I've ever had. What's it called? Lightwish. They've been around for a while, but they contacted me day before yesterday, and they said, "We're so pleased with your review of the paints that we did the other day. You remember? We did the ones on the, I can't remember the name of them, but anyway, the ones that Lightwish make, which are like Paul Rubens, which isn't surprising because it's the same company. Anyway, so they said, would I like to review these? They called them charcoal pencils, but they aren't. They are pastel pencils, which is great. And they came the next day. Now, that's amazing because here in France, that's rare, very. So that's amazing. Anyway, they came and here they are. And what we have is a nice tin. It's a nice solid tin with a rather sinister looking chap on the front. Don't like him much, but can't get away from that, but I'll cover him up. And then inside we've got 24 pastel pencils. I am not an expert on pastel pencils at all. In fact, I have never in my life drawn a complete picture using them. I used to use pastels. I've got a nice collection of pastels that I've had for a while, long while actually. And at one time I did an awful lot of pastel painting, partly because my mother-in-law used to do it and she encouraged me, but she's gone now. So I've kind of lost interest. And anyway, it dries my skin. I do find that pastels are really absolutely lethal. I've got very sensitive and dry skin anyway, and holding pastels is not, it makes my skin crack, so I don't tend to do it. But this is a solution, isn't it? Because these are pastels within a wooden casing, and so that should work really well. So I thought, well, let's see, what shall we do? I'm going to move this out of the way for a minute, we'll come back to that. And so the very first thing I did was I picked up one of my little squares of watercolor paper, not this one, but, well, yes, actually, that was the very first thing I did. I picked up that and I picked up purple and I just did some flowers and did that, and just getting the feel of them, if you know what I mean. And then I thought, this is another tip, and it's another tip for when you have a new medium. You're going to work for the first time with pastel pencils, you're going to work for the first time with gouache or something like that. The thing to do, find a small piece of paper and draw or paint the thing that you're most confident with, which is, in this case here, we have the child house, the house that all children paint. The very first thing they paint after they've done mummy and daddy with their legs coming out of their head. You remember that? The next thing they start to learn to draw is their house, isn't it? Even if they live in an apartment or a caravan, they still draw a house because it's kind of in the blood. It's kind of in the genes. I don't know where it is, but in my generation anyway, that was what always happened with children. So that's what I did. Tamsin said, "Oh, I'm sure you could do better than that." Well, yes, of course I can. I don't know, though. I don't know. So then I thought, well, you know, the problem here is pastel pencils and watercolor paper doesn't work. Not a good plan. You got too much texture, really. I mean, doesn't look that bad, I suppose. And I could go in with a lot more pastel and I could improve it up to a point. But there is a limit to how much this could be improved. Never mind, I said to myself. There's always another piece of paper coming along behind. And I picked up this. This is Clairefontaine's Paint On paper, which comes in white and in colours. And in this particular pad, we've got natural grey, black, denim and white. And it's for mixed media work. And you can get this on Amazon, the link in the description below. It's smooth and it has enough tooth to be able to do pastel work on. It's not expensive like pastel paper or card can be, and it does work. And so my next trick was to go to a piece of grey, and I did another house. So this is the difference between working on smooth paper and working on textured paper. So same house, bit of perspective, and I thought, well, that's better. I was having fun. I was being a kid. So you did that. And then I thought, let's do some chickens, because that's the other thing that I quite like. So I did this. And then I thought, okay, let's see. So I had a look through some of my books and I found a tortoise. So I did him. And I thought that wasn't quite as bad as the other things. That was quite fun. You know, you can, and I'm starting here to learn how to blend using layers and going over one colour with another colour and getting it sort of into a nice textured and I don't know, more interesting. And it works very well on this paper. This is great, far, far better than watercolour paper. So if you do decide that you want to have a go with pastel pencils, and these aren't expensive, I can't remember how much they are, 20 something, they're not expensive. It's a good starter because, and I did watch Lindsay Wyrich's review of them and a couple of other people too, whose names I can't recall, and they all said the same sorts of things, which is that they are good quality, basically, to sum it up. So Tamsin then, this morning, she said to me, oh, I know, if you're going to do chickens, why don't you draw some eggs? So she came into the studio with this beautiful bowl of eggs, which our chickens have just laid. We've got black hens and white ones, and the black ones lay these beautiful green eggs, or at least one of them does. And then we've got we've got one hen that lays speckled eggs, which is lovely, isn't it? And some of them lay these beautiful dark brown ones. And I thought, well, that is a lovely idea to do that. And this set is particularly good on the browns. It's actually intended, I believe, as a portrait. Can you imagine painting that with pencils? I mean, give me a break. No, I suppose if you look at it closely, you can see where there are some lines, but this looks like the kind of thing that a computer would do. It's like AI, isn't it? It's very good. Some expert chap did that. No way am I going to get close to that. But these pencils are intended for portrait work, and you can tell that because there are loads and loads of browns. There's no yellows really to speak of because most people aren't, cadmium yellow is not us. but the only yellow is this one. They don't have their names on them. They just have numbers. I don't know where the numbers are. Maybe it's on the bottom. Hang on. Ah, yes. Hang on a second. I'll just close the tin and look on there underneath and see what the numbers are. I hadn't turned it over. Oh, still no name. Oh, well, there we are then. But we have, we've got kind of ivory, lemon yellow, yellow ochre, light cadmium yellow, I don't know, it's like flesh tone, potter's pink, cadmium orange. But you can see these are all skin tone colours, really. And then the couple of blues and mauves they have here would be useful for shadows on the face and so on and so forth. And the greens even, sometimes you get greenish shadows, don't you, on faces, and there's some green in here. And they've used green in the background as well, and obviously his jacket and everything. So, and one red and a purple for his hat. So yes, however, those colours would be perfect for eggs. So I thought, okay, let's have a go then. And I turned to another page. And so I started to do some eggs and put these over here. By the way, they do sharpen very easily. I've got a little mechanical sharpener here, one that you turn the handle on, and they work really well. They sharpen really well. So I'm just going to show you one or two how they work when you are actually using them on, and then we'll get on with the painting of the chickens on the bookmarks in a second. So let's just sort of basically draw an egg shape and just fill it in. I'm not doing anything artistic here. I'm just going to fill it in and show you that you can go really light, yeah, and darker. So you can have your light area and you can shade it, just kind of gradually go lighter as you go across. And once you've covered the whole thing, so we're imagining that the light is on the right hand, well, I can see because the egg is lying there in front of me, and have it lightest there and then dark near the edge. And if you want to completely cover, you can just press harder. And so there we are, there's a brown egg. So that's that colour. And then we could do a greenish one. Oh no, I already did that. Well, that's not exactly green, so that's kind of grey. So we could, is this green? Yeah, that's greenish. So we could go over that, couldn't we? And make that a bit greenish. And I think I can improve the shape as well. It's quite fun and different from watercolor. But if you're stuck and you can't bear to get your paints out and you don't want to commit to a painting, this is another alternative. We looked at, what did we look at the other day? Oh yes, Inktense. Yes, we looked at the Inktense, didn't we? And that's another alternative. So if you come in with a third layer, you can smooth it out and blend all of those colours together with a lighter pencil. I'm sure there are probably books on this for sure. Of course there are. But sometimes it's best to try things out first for yourself and then decide whether you want a book on it. So there we are, there's that one. And then this one could do with a bit of beige as well. So we'll just work that in there. Anyway, I'm not going to swatch them all because I want to get on with my bookmarks. But I do think this is quite effective. And I'm sure there are plenty of you out there who know much more than I do about how to use pastel pencils. But they have big advantage for me, like I say, that they don't affect my skin. My fingers don't dry out because I'm not touching the actual pastel. And you can work the pastel in until it is smooth. You see, and we've got light area here, and you just keep going and it gets lighter, and then you can blend it smoothly as it goes out, and this is good for calming the old OCD tendencies that we all have. Couldn't be more different from watercolor painting, really, where you try not to go over anything more than once. There we are, so that's that. And then you could take your blue, and that's too light. How about pink? And we'll do some shadow in the background. And then we could make that darker. Perhaps we could use some, I don't know what colour that is that black? And then you think, oh, now the thing to do is I need to smudge it with my finger, and so on and so forth. So there we are. That is the Lightwish set of Nyoni chalk or pastel paints, pastel pencils rather. And I'll put a link in the description below for you to check them out if you're interested. I did quite like my tortoise. Okay, you can go to bed now. Right, let's get rid of all this lot. Then, nice little system there with little handles on it. You know, you come to my channel for the alternative review. I don't do it the way other people do it because I'm not that organised. I'm not that systematic. It doesn't work like that for me. Let's move the eggs out the way. They're beautiful, aren't they? That'd make quite an omelette, that would, wouldn't it? I have this, which I could use for a bookmark process if I wanted to. It's nice actually to have some pre-cut like this. From Hahnemühle this is, but it is most definitely not the cheapest way. So if you're, if you don't want to lash out on something special, although a really nice little gift for somebody who likes painting. So if you know somebody who you can't think what to get, that's a nice little thingy. However, today I am going to use the last sheet. Are you listening, Etcher? The last sheet in my pad or block of Etcher watercolor paper. This is cold press 100% wood pulp, vegan friendly, size A4. And nice paper, but I just want to use it up because this is the last sheet and it's time. It's time to say goodbye. So it's A4, so that means that it measures approximately 11.5 by 8. And 8 is a good length for a bookmark, and 2 inches roughly is a good width for a bookmark. I have to look this up every single time I do it to make sure that I'm doing it right. And then what I've done is I've marked 2.5 inches across here so I can get 4 out of this page, 2.5 inches, and I put a dot. Then I've got 2 widths of washi tape here. I've got a wide one and a narrow one. This is half as wide. So I'm going to put the narrow one down the outside edge like this. And this is mostly just to define the space that I'm working in. I'm going to put this all the way around. I got this washi tape from a place called Teddy. If you are in Europe, you'll know about Teddy. It's like a dollar store. We don't have dollar stores over here in France, but we have got Teddy now. It's a German company. It's a franchise, and it's great because you can get all sorts of things there that you can't get cheap in the shops here in rural Brittany. Okay, so now I'm following my dots I'm putting the paper, because this is a sort of transparent one, so I should be able to see the dot, except it happens to have landed on a Christmas tree, but that's fine, near enough. And then, yeah, there we go. Let me just check the width. That's 2 inches. That's a bit short of 2 inches. That just needs to go over a little bit. I think that's about right. Yeah, that'll do. And then we'll just check it down the bottom, make sure. Yeah, that's okay. And then number 3. Oops. Check it. 2. Near enough. And last one. Let's see. Yeah, that just needs to go there a little bit. Okay. Right then, so now we have 4 potential bookmarks. And I'm going to do this design. And on our website, dianeantone.com, if you go over there and you have to just give your sign-in details, and you'll need to wait an hour or 2 before Tamsin gets back to you, because owing to circumstances beyond our control, the automatic enrollment system on our website is not working very well. And so please bear with us, but we will activate you. If you're already signed in and everything, if you're already a member of our website, then you won't have to worry. But if you're new, then you will have to wait a little while, but we will get back to you. And then once you're signed up and you've got your password and everything, you'll be able to download bookmarks, not bookmarks, sketches, tracings for free, because that's what we do. So now, to come to the painting of this, I haven't got my paints out yet, so I don't know what I'm going to use. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a guideline across here to divide each of these roughly into, I don't know if I'll do all 4 today. I'll probably only do 2. I'll finish the others later. And I'll put them up on the Etsy shop for sale as well, in case anybody's interested. If you can't be bothered to make them yourself, or you'd like to have one that I've painted, then that's where they'll be, on our Diane Antone Studio Etsy shop. Now, let me think. What shall I use to paint them? What did I do yesterday? I think I used Michael Harding yesterday, but I think today I might use something else. And what will that something else be? I'll tell you what, I haven't used for ages my Kuretake set. Haven't used for ages. So I've got that out now, and oh dear, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the camera and I get my paints out and get sorted. Okay, so I've got my paints out here. This is Kuretake ones. I've just picked out a few that I think will probably be helpful for these paintings. I've got, I think it's the one they call red, which is like a cadmium red. I've got burnt sienna and Indian red and a purple colour. This is ultramarine. This is ultramarine pale. This is alizarin crimson and looks like scarlet or something. I'm not quite sure what that is, but that's 2 more reds in case I feel I need them. I've got, which were in the palette before. Then I've got cadmium yellow here. Here I've got quinacridone gold, and I think that's probably more than enough for this. Now, when you draw chickens, I didn't want to draw chickens when I was young. I didn't like doing them because I thought they were difficult. So anyway, they're not. So what you do is basically for a chicken, start off with a kind of smile or something. We've got another video actually that I did talking about how to draw chickens in a really easy way and starting off with a kind of watermelon smile kind of thing. you might want to take a look at that. So I've just drawn a kind of semicircle and extended it up to the top where the tail is. Then we go across, then you go up, then you put the thing on top. I don't know why, whenever I'm doing a video, I can't remember what that's called. And then the wattle. It'll come to me. Don't worry. You don't have to panic. I will think of it sooner or later. The comb, that's it. The comb. Yes. And then we put in 2 legs. And the critical thing, the crucial thing to make it look like a chicken is to put the legs near the back, not near the front, because if you put the legs over here, it makes it look like it's falling over. So that's the way to do it. And number 2, we'll have her facing the other way. Even them. And so we do our semicircle with an extension up the back for the tail, come across, and you can curve that or you can have it straight, and you can develop your own sort of quirky henny style. And the thing is, they're very, very amenable hens. They are, as long as you get a few of the basics right, you can do them just however you want. You can start with the beak if you like and do the comb and the wattle first. And you can have a bit of a loopy thing going over there and the tail coming up like this. And the body coming down like that. We'll run out of space. This one is obviously, her legs are not as stretched out as some of them. That's okay. She's going to have her other leg here. No, not quite there. That's not quite right. Eraser. And the good thing about pencils is that you can make changes. So we'll just do that. Just make her a little bit shorter and put her legs here like that. And her eye will be there. Okay, so very easy to draw. And like I said, if you're not confident, and you won't be at first, and you might want to start off with tracings, you can get them from our website, dianeantone.com. So let's copy basically what we've got here. I'll just pick up some blue, and I'm using a small, this is a size 5, round synthetic brush. And it'll be interesting to see how this paper pans out, because I haven't used the etcher paper for ages. This is just a good quality, but it's cellulose, so it's not cotton. And I don't think it really matters, to be honest. I know a lot of people, and I say all sorts of things a lot, because a lot of people like to paint on cotton, and that's great. You know, no harm in it. But if you don't want to pay cotton prices, just get yourself some cellulose paper. Just ordinary watercolour paper. Strathmore are good. They do a cheap one, and you can rely on them. If you're in America, they are one of your brands of choice, for sure, for inexpensive. And in England, Daler Rowney, Bockingford, you know better than I do. So I've just put in some nice red for the comb and wattle. And I was trying to put in a bit of shadowy there on the back, but it kind of all blurred in. So I'm going to add a little bit of purple and see if that will blend. And then add a bit more water to make the whole thing sort of, because I just wanted it to be a little bit, you know, two-tone, so to speak. And we'll leave her to dry and go down to the next one. And I think I'm going to do her in quinacridone to start with. And then I'll put some burnt sienna into that. I do love quinacridone. I don't know why. I love quinacridone yellow, quinacridone gold. Don't you think it's lovely? It's just so sunny. Such a sunny colour. And then we'll pick up a little bit of burnt sienna, which I think is this one. I have a piece of paper underneath my working paper here. I have a large piece of quite thick white paper, and when I want to test a colour, I just use that. So if you see me going off there, it's because I'm just doing that. And look at that. See, the quinacridone is so good because apart from anything else, it just lets the colours blend when you add another one in. See how that blended beautifully? It's just wonderful. So there's her. I'm going to leave her for a second because I don't want the red to bleed into the orange. I'll just let that dry a little bit. And I'll go down to number 3. And we'll go back to the blue for this one. And I did 2. I did sets of 2. And the other one, the second one, I did 2 red and 1 blue. And you can't have more fun than this. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, I quite like this etcher paper. It was quite nice. It's a pity it's all gone now. And we'll draw that down there and let that. But I have got a nice lot of Clairefontaine paper, so that's what I'm going to be using next. They have kindly sent me enough paper to keep me alive. I mean, enough paper for me to use for as long as I stay alive. I'm not going to run out of paper. Okay, we'll put the combs in here. Oh, that did run a little bit, but that's okay. Sometimes that's nice. Okie dokie. And then we'll do the faces. What colour should we do the faces? In a sort of light pinkish brown kind of thing. Beige, in other words. The beak. There we are. And then I'm going to whack the hairdryer on that because actually I should have done something else before we did the hairdryer thing. I should have just done their legs. I'm going to use a pen in a minute. This will dry fairly quickly, so we just put some little bits of colour in their legs. And then we'll come in with I'm going to use a sepia Winsor & Newton fine liner permanent ink pen to do the next thing. Just thinking about the order of. Oh, actually, I'll tell you what, I should do a black eye. Yes, so we just pop the eye in, just close to the beak, and that gives a lot more character. You could do the outlining in black. There's no law that says it has to be done in brown, but I quite like the brown effect. And you can make this as inaccurate as you like, or as accurate. I quite like to sort of go away from the paint. I don't know why. And sometimes you can add in little cute things like knobbly knees and stuff. And you can draw in a wing if you want. If you feel that you've gone too far, like I think I did there, you can always put a bit more blue in. You could. I'm not going to. No, actually, I will. I'll put a little bit of purple. There we are. That went a bit off. And then, because that's what I was going to do next anyway, is pick up the same colour and put in some feathers like that, and your wing like that. Okay, that's what we want. And on this one we need the same kind of thing. We can do them a little bit differently like that, and a little bit of an indication of a wing, not too much. And this one, make them all different, and then come back with a pen. I mentioned the other day how my right hand has been playing up because I over-exerted myself with the vacuum cleaner. So it's been, I have a trigger finger on my fourth finger on my right hand is rubbish. It doesn't bend properly, but it does not hold me back. I still paint, as you know. Anyway, so what was I going to say? Yeah, my fine motor control has been affected a bit by that. So my husband said, I'll buy you a new vacuum cleaner. I'm like, I don't want a new vacuum cleaner. Oh, well, I'll do the vacuuming. That's what I wanted to hear. Okay, so we'll put the ground in, and then the last thing that I'm going to do for these hens is give them some dinner. They always look so cute when you've done them. So their dinner is some nice golden corn. So we just put some little corn pieces here on the ground in front of them. And then to make them stand out, we need a bit of shadow. So we go to purple and brown to make a nice dark purpley brown. And we just put a little bit of shadow in there. There we are. So there we are. I'm only going to do the one today because time is of the essence. And so that's the one that we did today. And these are the two that I did yesterday. And they look quite nice when they are punched. They have a hole, and you can get these lovely tassels on Amazon for next to nothing. And punch the hole up top there, thread that through, and Bob's your uncle. And that'll make you smile next time you're reading some heavy-duty book or a book on painting, which I haven't written yet. So there we are. I'll let you go now. Don't forget to go over to dianeantone.com and sign up for our newsletter as well over there. And as I say, open an account with us. Doesn't cost anything. You don't need to give us anything. You know, I don't ask for your firstborn son or anything like that. Just your name and an address, basically. And then, you know, can take it from there. And what else? What else? Oh, well, two things. Two misunderstandings that I should correct in case you're still listening. One, although I'm going to Egypt in October, I'm not going to not be posting. There will be the same videos, and you won't even know that I'm not in the same place. So if I hadn't have told you, you wouldn't have known, but I have. So there you are. And maybe the only thing that will be different will be that you might see some kind of Egyptian tinge to some of the videos. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Second thing is that we are not stopping YouTube because of Patreon. No, nothing's going to change. The only thing I'm going to do is we're going to update our Patreon offerings. We're going to have to put the prices up a little bit because you know how everything's getting so expensive. And but not much. And there'll always be a free option too. And YouTube is not changing. YouTube is not changing. Okay? Right. I'll let you go now. And on that note, please have fun this weekend. And I will see you soon. So I'll say bye-bye for now, everybody. and, break that block, paint a chicken. Bye for now, everyone. Bye-bye.